Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Face the Heels. This is episode 37. My name's Ben Cornett, and as you know, you can follow me on X at BennyBoys702. You can, as you're watching this show, you're watching this also on my YouTube channel at BenCornett9015 and on Facebook in the Ben Zone Facebook group. And if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, it is on my personal page as well. So, everybody, we are here. There's Money in the Bank tonight. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Peacock in America. If you're overseas, it is on WWE Network. So yeah, tonight is Money in the Bank. Very excited for this event. I feel like, excuse me, at least the last few years that this event kind of taken over as probably the number four. You know, we always had the big four in WWE: WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And I've kind of felt like in the last few years, Money in the Bank has kind of overtaken at least Survivor Series. The reason I say that is because obviously, you know, you have two Money in the Bank matches, one for the men's, one for the women, and there's stakes. As you know, the winners of those briefcases they have a contract that they can challenge for any title at any time for a full calendar year. It's a great concept. It was introduced in, I believe, it was 2005 at WrestleMania. Um, Edge was the first guy to win the Money in the Bank. As you know, he cashed it in, I believe, the beginning of 2006, New Year's Revolution against John Cena. So this concept has always been one of my favorites. You know, and to me, the Money in the Bank, I think, does more than just, you know, give you an opportunity to win a championship. You know, it also kind of builds you up as a character, and you know, it's helped a lot of wrestlers, you know, over the years. Obviously, CM Punk won Money in the Bank. You know, Damian Priest won it last year. You know, Edge was the first winner of it. So, you know, we've had countless other winners. Most of them have pretty much cashed in. You know, on the women's side, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan, you know, it was successful for them. So, you know, it's a big deal. And, you know, tonight is going to be no exception. You know, sometimes we see, you know, people who win this match cash it in the same night. And then sometimes we see them carry it for maybe a year, you know, almost a year, maybe 6 months. You know, so it's a very unique concept, and if done right, you know, if you carry that briefcase for a while, it could be pretty entertaining on how you use it, how that briefcase helps you, you know, as a character, as a wrestler. So it gives you a lot to look forward to in that aspect. So, um, anyway, why don't we get right to it? Like I said before, you're watching this show on the Ben Zone Facebook group. And on X at BennyBoy702, as well as my YouTube channel, BenCornett9015. So why don't we get right into it? We're going to just start out with the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. This is uh, a big match. You know, it's got a lot of, you know, good names, but um, some of them are new, you know, to this concept. Obviously, we got 6 competitors. It's going to be Drew McIntyre. It's going to be Chad Gable, Jey Uso, LA Knight, Andrade, and Carmelo Hayes. Um, this is a good group right here. All 6 of these performers very good at doing their thing, their character, their work. You know, Carmelo Hayes, the new guy, you know, who just got called up from NXT on SmackDown. You know, he's been in these ladder matches before in NXT. Andrade, he's been in some ladder matches in his career as well. Uh, you know, this is a very good match. I think, you know, on paper, you know, you can go with at least a couple guys on here who could win this thing and who should win this thing. Certainly, Jey Uso's got a lot of momentum right now. Fan favorite. You know, Chad Gable, same thing. He's been kind of on a roll lately. You know, don't look at the wins and losses. You know, just look at, you know, how he's getting over with the crowd. You know, especially as a heel. LA Knight, he's red hot right now. He's kind of in a program with Logan Paul. Andrade just came back to WWE. He's had some momentum lately, and Drew McIntyre, we all know, he's been on a roll this past year. I would say so far he's going into this first half of the 2024 calendar year. You could say Drew McIntyre has pretty much been the MVP of WWE. He's just his rivalry with CM Punk, and it's been incredible. I've really enjoyed this, this part of Drew McIntyre's career. He's just been kicking ass, and it's only going to get better for him. So, having said that, I gotta say this match could go a lot of ways here, but I do feel like this is my prediction for it. I'm going with Drew McIntyre. Um, I just think right now he's red hot, and I'm going to explain later what he does with the briefcase, whether he cashes in tonight or any other night. I'll explain that later on. But I'm picking Drew to win this one. Again, a lot of momentum. Um, I always say that a briefcase you could put it on someone who could use it a lot. But I think in this particular situation here, I'm going with Drew, and I'll explain later why I'm going with Drew McIntyre. Why you'll see why. Um, I do think in this match as well, I think you're going to see LA Knight have a good showing, but I think this is where Logan Paul is going to try and screw him out of it, and you're going to see the setup for the match for SummerSlam. Logan Paul, LA Knight for the U.S. title. Chad Gable, you could see something with the Wyatt Six being involved. He's been attacked lately by the Wyatt Six. So, there's a lot of things you could see in this match. But in the end, I think, going over this, I think Drew McIntyre's going to win this thing, and I'll explain later why, and you'll see. So that's my prediction for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. It will be Drew McIntyre grabbing the briefcase. So now we're going to switch over to the women's Money in the Bank match. The competitors in this match from Raw, you got Lyra Valkyria, you got Io Sky from Damage Control, and Zoe Stark. On SmackDown, you have Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Naomi. This is going to be a fun match. We've had a lot of great women's ladder matches lately, especially for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Looking at this match in particular, this is the one where I think the Money in the briefcase is good for somebody who's up and coming, who could really use it, can enhance his or her character. And in this situation, this is perfect for somebody like Tiffany Stratton, who, since she's gotten to the main roster, she's really had a great showing. She seems like she's years ahead as far as her level of experience. I know recently there was an issue with her social media stuff that she said a while back that maybe kind of pushed her to the side, but she's back. She's had a good showing ever since. She's in this match. I know the show being in Toronto, there's a lot of predictions saying Chelsea Green could win this thing. And that's very possible, especially with her momentum lately. I personally love Chelsea Green. I think she plays her character very well. The cocky, always thinks she should win and have everything handed to her. She just plays her role so well. And, you could see her with the Money in the Bank briefcase. It could work for her as well. But I think right now in particular, this would do more for Tiffany Stratton, who, you got to put the pieces together. She's working with Nia Jax, kind of forming a little team here. So it does make a lot of sense that, for Tiffany Stratton to maybe cash it in on Bayley, because Nia Jax is going up against Bayley at SummerSlam because Nia won the Queen of the Ring, so she automatically gets a women's title shot. Especially with this little alliance with Tiffany Stratton, there's a possibility that I know I'm thinking of I'm going ahead here, but maybe Tiffany Stratton turns on Nia, So there's a lot of possibilities there. And again, Chelsea Green, you know, very possible she could win it as well. She's been involved in a storyline with Bailey and her friend Piper Niven. Um, you know, Io Sky, I think, she's already been the women's champion. I don't see her getting it. Lyra Valkyrie, I think it's a little early. You got to build her up pretty well. Um, and Naomi, I mean, there's another possibility. Naomi could win this thing. Uh, her and Bailey, they've had interactions. She Naomi was there for Bailey when Damage Control attacked her. During WrestleMania season. So there's three possibilities here: Naomi, Chelsea Green, or Tiffany Stratton. I'm gonna go with Tiffany Stratton here. I think right now this could do more for her. I'm not saying it can't do anything for Chelsea or Naomi, but I think Tiffany has the most upside, the most to gain out of this. So my prediction for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match is going to be Tiffany Stratton winning this, and I could see her cashing in. Maybe not tonight, but like down the road, um, as we get closer to SummerSlam, or maybe at SummerSlam, or carry it into the fall or winter. Damian Priest cashed his in at WrestleMania, this past year. So he had it for a while. So again, this is what Money in the Bank's what I like about it is, the unpredictability of it, and this can make a wrestler, a young performer, make him or her shine. So yeah, that is my pick for the women's Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, and for the men's, Drew McIntyre. We got some comments in here. Let's see. Christopher Cole, thanks for tuning in. Afternoon, Ben. Good afternoon to you, Chris. How you doing, man? I know you're looking forward to tonight. Watching Money in the Bank should be a very good show. Christopher Cole also says, I'm watching SmackDown from last night right now. Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, SmackDown was pretty good last night. I won't spoil it because obviously Christopher Cole's watching, so I won't spoil it. I'll let him watch it. Scott Thaler, thanks for tuning in. How you doing? Ray Kennedy, thanks for tuning in, man. How you doing, Tampa Bay Ray? So with that being said, we're gonna get to some other matches. I'm gonna take a sip of water. See in the background, I got the England Switzerland World Cup match on. But anyway, back to our predictions here. Let's go to the Intercontinental title match. This is going to be a pretty interesting match tonight. I'm looking forward to this. This could steal the show. Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Champion, is going up against Braun Breaker. I got to tell you, Sami Zayn done very well with this Intercontinental title run. He just had a great feud with Chad Gable. Obviously, we all know Sami won the IC title at WrestleMania, defeating Gunther after his 666-day reign. And Sami's been doing great with it ever since. Braun Breaker, obviously, getting up to the main roster earlier this year. He has really done well. I really like what they've done with him on Raw. Making this anti-authority badass, just destroying people, making him look like a legitimate threat to anybody, especially to somebody like Sami Zayn and the Intercontinental title. This should be a very good match, some heat right here. You always want to have good heat in these kind of matches, and this is no exception. I wouldn't say this would be the time for Braun to win the title here, but my prediction on this one, I'm going to go with Sami Zayn to retain it. Now, I know the obvious answer would be, people would say, well, it's because they're in Canada. Sami Zayn's from Montreal. And, that may play a little bit of a hand in it, but at the same time, I feel like you still want to build Braun up. I could see a scenario where we have a disqualification. I'm not a big fan of those in title matches. I always want a clear cut winner, but you don't want to make Braun look take a clean pinfall either. You want to make him as strong as possible. Now, I mean, a clean pinfall wouldn't hurt here. I'm not saying it would destroy Braun, but you want to still make him a legitimate badass at the same time that maybe Braun could just cost himself the title by going too far, and there could be a rematch on the horizon. I expect it to be. So, with that being said, I'm going to go Sami Zayn in this match, just because I feel like right now this is more about building up Braun a little bit. Sammy's still having a good run with the IC title, but I think eventually you'll see Braun Breaker win the Intercontinental title, over Sami Zayn. I just think tonight might not be the night yet, but it will happen, sooner rather than later. So that's my prediction. Sami Zayn will retain the Intercontinental title. I could see it either a Braun Breaker wins by DQ or Sami wins this matchup. So it should be good. It should be good. I can't wait to see it. The next matchup, another one I'm really looking forward to. It's been getting a lot of great build up. Obviously, we all know the Bloodline with Solo Sikoa taking over as the tribal chief. We saw on SmackDown last week where Paul Heyman would not acknowledge Solo as the tribal chief. So instead, they put Paul Heyman through a table. I thought it was great stuff. It did it in Madison Square Garden. Paul Heyman's from New York. Madison Square Garden's like the mecca of WWE. Paul Heyman was a photographer, a wrestling photographer when he grew up. He was taking pictures at Madison Square Garden. So it was really kind of a full circle moment. But it was great stuff. And, Solo is now the head of the table. He's the tribal chief. My theory on this is I think The Rock gave Solo that reef. And we'll explain more about it in the weeks to come. But again, this was great stuff. So now you got Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief. You got Tamatonga Tongaloa, and now you got Jacob Fatu, who's the Samoan werewolf. He's in the bloodline and Solo's bloodline. And I got to tell you real quick, Jacob Fatu, if you guys haven't seen him wrestle, if you go on YouTube, watch some MLW matches with Jacob. This guy is legit. He's a badass. He's perfect for this group. Just perfect for WWE. He's going to do some great things. Looking forward to it. But as far as regarding this match tonight, Bloodline's going up against Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. Again, this is going to be a very, fun match. It's going to be violent. I expect it to go in the crowd. I expect, weapons and stuff like that to happen. As far as my prediction on this match, I'm going to go Bloodline here. And, right now they could use it more than a Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens. Because again, you're building up Solo as the new leader of the Bloodline, the new tribal chief. We all know eventually Roman Reigns will come back and have that showdown with Solo. So it's good to, make him a threat, make him legitimate. And I think that's what's going to happen here. So my prediction, the Bloodline will beat Cody, Randy, and KO tonight. But it should be a very good match. Should be fun to watch. It's going to go all over the arena. There's just a lot of heat there, a lot of personal animosity between these two teams. And it's kind of a good break for Cody not having to defend the world title, the WWE championship yet. Because right now tonight it's more about the Money in the Bank, the briefcase, everything. So this is a nice little match to keep Cody's momentum going, along with the Bloodline storyline, along with KO and Randy Orton. So my prediction: the Bloodline will beat Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens. It should be a fun match. And then finally, we're going to go to the World Heavyweight title match. the champion Damian Priest versus a returning Seth Rollins from a few weeks ago. Came back after his WrestleMania match. He lost to Damian Priest. So this is the match. This is the main event. I'm thinking this is going to be the main event tonight. Now, remember, we got to look at it as how the WWE positions these matches, because that'll determine, any cash-ins, um, stuff like that. So I'm thinking this is going to be the main event tonight. And on paper, this should be a very good match. Damian Priest has done such a good job, I think, as the world heavyweight champion. There's been some critics who say he hasn't been great. I think he's done very well, considering. And, the whole thing with the Judgment Day, stuff like that, maybe it's overshadowing his run a little bit with the whole Dom and Liv stuff, which, by the way, has been really good. Liv has really stepped up, and, especially as a heel. When Rhea comes back, that match with Liv's going to be incredible. That feud's going to be incredible. As you know, there's some incentives in this match as well. If Damian Priest loses this match, he has to leave the Judgment Day. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, if he doesn't beat Damian, he doesn't get another title shot while Damian's champion. So, there's a lot at stake here tonight, and I love that. I love that in these kind of matches where you have stakes. And looking at this match, I gotta say, with Seth Rollins having that almost year run with the world title, I don't see him winning this title tonight, especially with what I'm about to say here in a minute with another prediction, which you might kind of be figuring out already why I think this match will be put on last. But Seth, I think, is going to go on to do different stuff. Damian Priest is going to retain the title. That's my prediction for tonight. And I'll just get right to it. This is where I think Drew McIntyre winning the briefcase earlier tonight, this is where he's going to cash it in. He's going to do it against Damian Priest. However, there's some guy named CM Punk. He's going to be lurking in the crowd. He's going to be in Toronto. He's going to do something to Drew McIntyre. This is where I believe Drew's going to cash in his money in the bank. And again, you're going to see in this match, you're going to see some interference with the Judgment Day. There's going to be some shenanigans going on during this match. Somehow I do see Dom Liv involved. So it's going to be interesting with this matchup. But again, this is where I think, even though Damian Priest will retain, this is where I think Drew McIntyre is going to sneak in there, try and cash it in, but somehow CM Punk prevents him from winning the title. And then Damian Priest will retain it again. And then, assuming that CM Punk is cleared to compete from his tricep injury that he suffered at the Royal Rumble, this could be the match at SummerSlam. Drew and CM Punk will finally get it. Once again, CM Punk's going to get into Drew McIntyre's way, cost him another match. Because remember, a few weeks ago on SmackDown in Chicago, Punk's hometown, CM Punk was there, but then Drew McIntyre showed up, beat him up, sent him to the hospital. Punk's been gone a couple weeks. He's rested, getting rested from his injuries. He's going to sneak in, show up again, and put the screws to Drew McIntyre once again, and that'll just set Drew off. And then there you have it, your SummerSlam match. I'm assuming Punk will be cleared to compete by this time, and off to the races we go. This should be it's already been a great program. These two haven't even wrestled. They've barely touched each other. So, I'm really looking forward to this. This is probably the best feud in WWE right now, other than the Bloodline stuff with Liv and Dominic. To me, this has been my favorite feud because we haven't seen much out of these two. The less is more theory. It just keeps building up. simmering, uh, moving the storyline slowly. Now, Punk's injury has kind of helped the storyline because he doesn't have to do anything. Right now he can't with the injury, but it's been great stuff. Clash at the Castle, where Drew had the title won over Damian Priest, and CM Punk sneaks in, as a referee, uh, cost Drew the match. So this thing has been built up very well. So once again, my prediction for this World Heavyweight title match, Damian Priest will retain the title. He'll get attacked or something like that. And then that's where you'll see Drew McIntyre sneak in. He'll try and win the Money in the Bank, but then CM Punk will come out of nowhere, cost Drew yet another chance at winning the World Heavyweight title. And this is where you got your SummerSlam match. Again, assuming that CM Punk is healthy by this time, he's cleared to compete. That'll be your SummerSlam matchup. And then Gunther will go up against Damian Priest for the world title because Gunther won the King of the Ring, so he automatically gets a world title shot at SummerSlam. So yeah, these are my predictions. I'll go over with them one more time. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match, Drew McIntyre will win the briefcase. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Tiffany Stratton will win the Money in the Bank briefcase. The Intercontinental title match, Sami Zayn will retain over Braun Breaker. The Bloodline will defeat Cody, Randy, and Kevin Owens. And then finally, Damian Priest will retain the World Heavyweight title, beating Seth Rollins. And then Drew will try and cash it in. And then after that, CM Punk will show up, cost Drew again. And then you'll have Drew and CM Punk at SummerSlam, assuming Punk's injury is he's cleared to compete. And let me read some of these comments. JC Allen, thanks for tuning in, by the way. And congratulations on that Sports Illustrated thing, man. He's doing great stuff for the Bucks. Appreciate you tuning in. I know he's a big WWE fan. He says Priest wins, I think, and I agree with that. He'll retain the title against Seth, but he'll also have Drew try and cash it in, but then Punk will somehow cost him again. JC says Finn interferes to allow Priest to win, causing Priest to get pissed at Finn, leading to a split in the feud. That's a very good possibility as well. We all know that Liv helped Finn and JD McDonough win the tag team titles. Her involvement, and like I said, and I said earlier, JC, the shenanigans are going to happen tonight in this match. So, and I think when Priest retains the title against and goes up against Gunther at SummerSlam, that's where you'll truly see the Judgment Day split, cost Damian Priest the title. But then again, at the same time, I don't want Gunther to win it like that. You want to see him win it clean, but either way, I think Damian Priest's run with the title is going to come to an end sooner than later, and the Judgment Day will officially break up. People will say, well, what do you do with Seth Rollins here? Well, it's interesting, but I think Seth could go maybe against the Wyatt Six. Give him an interesting storyline. We didn't think about that. Maybe the Wyatt Six get involved. Maybe cost Seth the match. So there's a lot of possibilities here. Raw's been really good lately with these storylines. And again, I trust Triple H's creative. He's he's done a great job building up these PLEs. He has that destination in mind for each storyline. So it's a fun time right now in WWE, and excuse me. Again, this should be a very good show tonight. I don't expect it to be bad at all. And like I said earlier, the Money in the Bank, to me, in my personal opinion, has taken over, I think, as the number 4 as far as the big shows of the year, even over Survivor Series. I just feel there's just, so much at stake with these Money in the Bank matches, the unpredictability. You could see a cash in on the same night. So it makes for a real fun show, and I can't wait. I cannot wait, guys. This is going to be. I know you guys are excited about this. I am as well. Again, tonight, Money in the Bank is at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Peacock in America. But if you're overseas internationally, it's on the WWE Network. The show will actually kick off at 5 p.m. Eastern. With the pre-show and everything. Do what I'm doing, give you a preview of Money in the Bank. But man, this is going to be fun. Scott there says I'm doing great things for Millie Bobby Brown. Okay. JC says Seth versus Braun Breaker. That's a possibility, and that would be a good feud for Braun. Going up against Seth. Have an established veteran like Seth Rollins go up against a young Braun Breaker. That's always a possibility as well. They'll put on some good matches. And then Seth versus Dragunov be a banger of a feud. Yeah, JC, uh, Dragunov's been great since he's come to the main roster. He is one badass dude. You have him and Seth go up one on one. Oh, you're right. These matches would be incredible to watch. Seth is a workhorse. He'll make anybody look good in the ring. Dragunov already does look good, so he's not going to need that help. But you put those two together, man, those matches would be great. But the Braun Breaker Seth Rollins feud, that would be money. Just because Braun could use that rub against an established veteran like Seth Rollins. I would sign me up for that one. That would be a fun feud to watch. Those two guys are great at what they do. Seth, we all know his accomplishments, his accolades. Braun just getting started on the main roster. By the way, if you watched the Steiner Brothers documentary on A&E last week, it was great. Braun has those genes. He's got a bit of both Scott and Rick Steiner in him. You could tell. So Seth and Braun would be great to watch. Yeah, I definitely look forward to that. Scott says Sean Spencer is still free. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to take off here, but I want to thank everybody for watching today here on Face the Heels, episode 37, Money in the Bank preview match. Tomorrow night, we also have WWE NXT Heatwave. That should be a great show. Roxanne Perez, Lola Vice for the women's title. Should be a lot of fun. Cannot wait to see that one. Trick Williams defending his NXT title against Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears in a fatal four-way match. So it should be a fun show. This weekend's we're getting treated with two great shows. Money in the Bank tonight, Heatwave, NXT Heatwave Sunday. Shawn Michaels doing great stuff. Again, with NXT, he's really building that brand very well. And NXT's gotten a lot better these last few months. We're really enjoying it. I know it's not been really the same since the Black and Gold, but NXT had a little slump for a while, but they seem to bounce back very strong, and yeah, it's been enjoyable every week. So yeah, tune into that. Scott Taylor, go Rams. Yeah. And he says, great show, Ben, for a fake sport. Well, you can call it fake all you want, but it's still entertainment. It's sports entertainment, and I love it, and a lot of people love it. So, and they're going to love it tonight. It's going to be a very good show. I expect that. So with that being said, I'm going to take off here. But before I go, I want to once again thank everybody: Scott, JC Allen, Christopher Cole. Thank you for watching. Appreciate that. And as always, you can watch this show and every episode of Face the Heels or my other shows, Have At It, on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. Also on X, I'm at BennyBoy702. And if you're an Instagrammer, you can follow me on Instagram at Ben702Forever. That's Ben702 Forever. And on Facebook in the Ben Zone and on my personal page as well. So, yeah, just give me a like, share, and subscribe and share. I greatly appreciate that. And with that being said, everybody, enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy tonight and tomorrow night. We're going to have a lot of great wrestling to watch. So, guys, take care. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you next time right here on Face to Heels Wrestling Show. And we'll see you next time. Take care.